As we explored the county of Imperial, there was no other apparent reason than to cover the major health and environmental issue arising by the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea is California's largest lake. With an area of 365 square miles, it is home of North America's largest population of migratory waterfowl outside of the Everglades. It is a stopover for two-thirds of bird species in the continental U.S. It is the largest, more diverse source of renewable energy. Its water is 1.5 times saltier than the ocean. It sits 235 feet below sea level. The Salton Sea is situated in Riverside and Imperial counties. While driving out to interview the community of the Salton Sea, we stumbled across two young gentlemen who were as concerned of the sea as we were.
Giovanni. And my name is Kerry. This is our campaign director, and I'm the executive director of the Eco Media Compass. We started the Save Our Sea campaign for the Salton Sea, and you are at Save Our Sea headquarters. So as far as we know, this is the only entire property dedicated to restoring the Salton Sea. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit working on awareness, education, and solutions for our highly endangered, beautiful state's largest lake.
So one of our main goals has been to get as many people as possible to know about the Salton Sea and to know about what's going on with it. Because a lot of people don't know where it is, what's happening, who lives here.
Or how to fix it.
So we've been working really hard to get the community involved, get as many people from California, from this country, USA, from all over the world to see the Salton Sea and to know that there are ways to restore it completely, and to also know that there's an urgent need to fix the area because there are public health and environmental health dangers and risks that are very close to happening if we don't do anything to fix it.
After interviewing Giovanni and Carrie, we felt it was important to see how others felt in the community. So we visited a local charter school and business.
Do you want the Salton Sea to be restored?
Oh, definitely.
Why?
Well, one, the smell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and two, also, it's a body of water that we can all use, and we can't all use it. Because, sorry.
It's okay.
Sandbars. Thank you. Sandbars. We can't go. We can't even take our boats out there or anything like that because the sandbars, hold you from going pretty far. And if you're stuck over there, no one's going to come to help you. There's no one here. So, and actually they do have boats ready to go, but no one's been using them. So yes, the smell and what we can definitely use it for. And also too, they said that there's pesticides going in there, so we would definitely like to have that better handled for the people here and all around. So.
Okay.
Do you want the Salton Sea to be restored?
I absolutely want it to be restored.
Why do you want it to be restored?
Because if it dries up, it will not only be a catastrophe for our local area, but it will ruin Arizona, California, Nevada, and all the surrounding states and areas.
Would you jump into the Salton Sea the way it is now?
No.
No.
No, because of the way I see the fish. The fish are out. Why would I want to go in? Now, I would like to go in because of the salt. It has so much salt in there, they say, you have a lot of buoyancy. Like, hey, really? You won't sink. I'd like to know that one, but not right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you jump into the Salton Sea the way it is now?
Yes.
Have you done it?
No.
No?
Out in the middle, it's fine. It's just the shoreline that's icky. So.
Would you jump into the Salton Sea water?
I've been in it before.
Yeah.
It's not toxic.
That's what I say.
Yeah, it's got high nutrient load, so it's fertilizer coming off the farmlands. The farmers use herbicides, pesticides, but most of that gets taken up naturally in the river system and the canals, the drainage canals, and once it gets into the Salton Sea, it gets even more diluted. So the Salton Sea water is actually, it's not bad. It's just salty and nutrient rich.
So does it make your skin soft?
I don't remember.
As I know it gets, you get soft with salt like the
Yeah.
ocean water.
Yeah, I paused when you asked if I would jump in because I didn't actually jump in. I fell in off a moving boat. It wasn't voluntary.
We forgot to ask your name.
Oh, my name is Tom Anderson.
Tommy
And I'm
Anderson.
the assistant manager here at the refuge.
After a few interviews, we felt it was important to hear the perspective from a biologist and the newly appointed mayor.
Into parking lots, into buildings, into structures. So
Marinas, whatever.
the Salton Sea is now one of the last remaining wetlands in our state, and it's so critical for the survival of over 400 bird species that migrate along the Pacific Flyway. And then it's also integral to an entire desert ecosystem around the Salton Sea. So we have mammals and amphibians and reptiles and fish and birds that all rely on this crucial wetland. And if it continues to dry, it's not going to be there anymore for them to use as food, as habitat, as nesting grounds, as places to rest and eat and drink. So that's one of the main reasons why the Salton Sea is so important and why we need to conserve it.
And even more urgent from a public health perspective is the drying up of the Salton Sea any further will expose a lot of playa, and that's just the beach that is land where water should be. What we have learned through many studies is that over the last 100 years, there's a lot of farms around the Salton Sea, and about 2/3 of our nation's winter vegetables are grown around the Salton Sea. That's huge. That's a lot of our food. A lot of fertilizers and farming chemicals and things have run into the Salton Sea. And a lot of those things that we're concerned of are heavy metals, so they sink to the bottom. So generally, they're not doing much to affect the species. There's a very healthy ecosystem out there, for the most part, a lot of healthy, happy animals. But when the playa dries down and that becomes exposed to the air, those chemicals blow around. And that's cadmium, arsenic, selenium, lead, a bunch of crazy stuff that would give people asthma, emphysema, lung cancer, you name it, gets into your bloodstream and affects every part of our body. So,
Let's not forget a similar situation in Central California, Owens Lake.
so what concerns us most, there's a couple case studies that we can look to. One of them is a lake in Central California that was about 1/3 the size of Salton Sea, and they drained it to use the water. Okay. But they didn't know or they didn't care what would happen when they did that, and it created the worst air pollution in North America. That was 1/3 the size of the Salton Sea, and it didn't have all of these chemicals in it. And in the last 12 years, they've spent $2.5 billion, mostly pouring fresh water back into it so it wouldn't blow around again. This is 3 times bigger, has way more animals, and has millions of people in air quality breathing range in 3 states. That's huge. So if the Salton Sea dries up, a lot of people will get sick. And this area already has some of the highest asthma rates in the country, and that would be severely compounded. In addition, if this dries up and people don't see that there's a new water source coming, why would anyone want to move out here? Why would you move to a place where you know the air quality would forever get worse? Why would you move to a place where the authorities tell you your water source will always get smaller?
We also visited the Sunny Bono Wildlife Refuge to hear their perspective on the Salton Sea.
To happen overnight,
Well,
to happen
there-
rapidly, but
There will never be a whole sea restoration. So I think everyone's realizing that, and what they're doing is trying to make what they can with the available water. So there's not enough water to fill this entire area, so that's why they're looking at creating smaller impoundments and focusing on existing wildlife habitat areas along the shoreline. The center of the sea it's always going to be the low point, and water's always going to run down there, so that's the area that's going to become hypersaline, like 250 parts per thousand salt.
Oh.
And there's not much you can do to prevent that.
So it's going to be the center, bottom of the sea that's going to have all the salt.
Yep. And so the focus is around the shoreline areas. the south end is attractive because the bathymetry of the lake is very gradual, so you can build like a small, like a 5-foot tall levee and hold back water that'll cover a lot of area, a lot of acreage.
Okay.
Because of the slope of the lake bed is so gradual.
For the animals,
Mm-hmm.
for the wildlife.
So, so for the cost of building like a mile of levee, you can create more acres. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Tom's reference to the impoundments are known as the Red Hill Bay Restoration Project. It broke ground in November 2015 and is expected to be completed by June 2017. However, Save Our Sea differs.
So we feel the best resource to solve most of these problems by far is to add water from the ocean. The easiest way to do that is let it flow downhill from the Sea of Cortez. Because we're 230 feet below sea level, you wouldn't even need pumps. And the Sea of Cortez is the third largest tidal flood zone in the world, meaning the world's third largest water pump. And there's already canals leading much of the way here. We've driven. So this was one of our scouting missions. Here's that third largest tidal flood zone in the world. And here is a canal called the Coyote Canal that is already flowing north from the Sea of Cortez into Laguna Salada, and we would like to see it continue down into the Salton Sea. Imperial Irrigation District, which waters all these farms, already has 2,700 miles of gravity-fed canals and drains. We would like the state and the federal government to extend one existing canal.
Yay.
And prevent all of these problems and give us a region to believe in, a region that we will be healthy in, and bring our environment back.
Together as a group, we realize the only way to improve the Salton Sea at this point is to raise further awareness about our dying sea. In order to do this, we are asking you to join us by signing 3 postcards that will be sent to the State Water Resources Control Board, the California Air Resource Board, and the IID Board of Directors. Let's raise as a community our voices to show that we want to save our sea.